Good morning, good afternoon, and a very happy Monday, guys. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Let me say good morning to my panel. We have got Doctor and author extraordinaire Adega. Good morning, Adega.
Very good morning and good afternoon.
We have got the lovely Lady Arwen. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning. Hey, y'all. It's great to be here, Purple.
And we have got the boss man himself returned. We've got Stone Loki. Good morning.
Oh, wait, I'm still on that. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we're going to get very silly today. I've got a feeling. But that's we are here to celebrate. We are here to talk everything Lord of the Rings. But before we do, let me say hello to everybody. So we have got TZ Canadian. Good morning. We've got our favourite polar bear, Snortopoopas. Hello. We've got Terry Rose. We've got both Bash Brothers, Chris and Mark. Hello, gentlemen. Leah Rose, good morning, sweetheart. Daryl the Derelict, good to see you. Southern Cecil, good morning. We've got Jim the Viking, a good afternoon to you. Let's see who else we've got. We have got Psychodwarf 9. He's lurking and listening. Good to see you. D-Bird Martin. Oh, I'm sorry, Loki. Did I say it incorrectly?
Psychodwarf 9!
I did. Keely Chow, good morning. Rollside, good to see you. We've got Darth Alena. Hello, sweetheart, who's just become a new Shield Maiden. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate that. Welcome. Welcome to the ranks. Good to see you. Gun Bunny. Hello, Gun Buddy. Good morning. Pat S. Good to see you as well, honey. Good to see you. There's Darth Alena. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. And Zacharat says howdy. Good morning to you too, Zacharat. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. We are very close to Christmas. You can feel it. You can feel it in the air.
Yes.
But
is that what that is?
That's what that is, yes.
Ah.
Christmas.
Christmas.
But here I was putting ointment on it, and it's just Christmas.
Oh, God.
Too much information.
Topical. Oh, God.
But what I was surprised to see is nobody celebrated Lord of the Rings. We had celebrations for the anniversary of Harry Potter. We had celebration for something else that's just passed. But it's been pretty much silent for Lord of the Rings, and I was really surprised. I mean, the fans have celebrated, but there's been nothing official for the 20th anniversary. So I thought, well, let's get a group of fans together and celebrate.
Yeah, I don't get that. I guess it's not as stunning and brave enough for today to be remembered. Who knows? But yes, come on, y'all. Lord of the Rings.
I think they're saving all that up for the new series that's coming out. So, yeah.
Could be.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to come out, not because I'm looking forward to it, but because I've got a sneaking suspicion we are going to tear it to shreds.
Oh yeah. As soon as you see Gandalf the first time, it's like, "What's up, motherfuckers? I'm Gandalf the fucking Grey." You could be like, "Yeah, no, sorry." F-bombs in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, okay. You went the Discovery route. Yeah, no, thank you.
F-bombs and boobs. Let's not forget the nudity that's apparently coming.
Gandalf will be a woman. Hey, y'all, as a man, I shall not pass. No.
We decided early on to have nudity training. We are going to be like Game of Thrones. We're going to have lots and lots of nudity. Lots and lots of flaccid sausage.
Oh,
flaccid sausages.
Yes.
Hobbits love good sausages, and we're going to have a lot of flaccid sausages.
No,
that's exactly what Tolkien wanted from his books.
Right.
Flaccid sausages.
Big
That's what I
feet,
get when
big
I
sausage.
read Lord of the Rings. Y'all. Big, no, stop that.
Mark says it's because a lot of people are still watching the super duper ultra studio director's 15-year version of Lord of the Rings Purple.
Oh, okay. So who else has this? Does anybody else has this? I have the original DVD releases.
Yes.
with Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I have
Box
the
sets.
uncut box sets,
Yes.
the ones that look like books. Those are the
Yep.
DVD sets.
Yes.
Yep.
I have got the Blu-ray sets of the original movies, theatrical versions. I've got the ring box, the that look like a big book. It looks like a
Yep.
big book. Those are the
Yeah.
Blu-ray
Yep.
sets.
Yep.
And now I've got the 4K sets, and they're coming out with a giant Middle Earth package that has a special disc you can only get in the 4K Ultra Mega Middle Earth pack.
I'm having
have
a
that
hard
yet.
time deciding, is he excited about it or pissed that he has to buy something else? Because you know he's going to buy it.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna happen.
God help me.
And there's still content that they haven't released that's locked away in the vaults that they've never put on any of these editions.
It's
They
the
need to
Loki
release it.
edition.
Hashtag blame
We know
Loki,
he's
Lord of the
gonna
Rings
buy it.
edition. God, help me. They're gonna squeeze that. I'm starting to think of Warner Brothers like the Harkonnens in Dune. We're gonna squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and they're just gonna squeeze every last penny out of people that love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes, well, they better do it quickly since we were talking about the Amazon thing, because I think the love is going to dry up pretty darn quickly when that comes out.
God.
Mm.
But I
Wow.
can't believe it's 20 years since Fellowship came out. So technically, that's what we're celebrating. It was yesterday. It was released in the US. It was released on the 10th in London. And I'm feeling really, really old because I remember sitting in the cinema when it first came out, as I did with all of the films, and absolutely being blown away by the spectacle that I was watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. When I saw it was 20 years. 20, I'm like, you mean from when it was first released? Really? 20 years?
Yep, yep.
Oh, Chris, don't give them any ideas, dude. Do not give these people any ideas. It's bad enough as it is. You know, when the 4Ks came out, I was like, okay, I got the 4K Lord of the Rings. I got the 4K. This will be my ultimate edition. And then they come out with that damn Middle Earth pack, and I'm just like, guys, we're gonna give you everything we've come out with so far, including one more disc. So in this ultimate Middle Earth pack, you'll get the DVDs, you'll get the Blu-rays, you'll get the 4Ks, and you'll get a special disc that has footage no one's ever seen. And you're like, God help me.
I will be picking that up because there's a couple of the editions that you talked about that I don't have. So I'm going to skip over those and just get that one. Project
Wisdom.
Storytime, Lord of the Grift.
They say patience is a virtue. It also saves you a buck.
Yeah, we'll all bitch all the way, but we'll go get it. We will
Oh,
get
yeah.
it. We will be like, oh, and it's mine. Once it it shows up, shiny by exactly. It's mine, y'all.
Precious. They've been called that before. Yes, Gandalf, we know.
It was the last version you brought out, guys. Thank you. But you don't mind because it's such a great trilogy. I don't think it's, going beyond to say that this is the greatest fantasy trilogy ever made. And I was really skeptical when I first heard it way, way back when they first announced that it was going to be filmed. It was going to be directed by Peter Jackson, who I didn't really know very well. I knew he'd done a couple of films, but I was worried, I've got to admit. Even when the cast started to be announced and we had Ian McKellen as Gandalf, which I thought was brilliant. But Elijah Wood really threw me.
Yeah,
as
he
Frodo.
did. Me too. I was surprised. And
I didn't think anything of it. Like I said to you before we started, I hadn't read the books. Everyone had told me I should have, but I never did.
Oh,
but
no,
when I got into
no.
the theater, and it wasn't even the commercials, but when I got out of the theater, I saw the big 7-foot cutout poster of the movie. I said, oh crud, I'm in for something really special. Wasn't let down.
No, be happy that I wished when I was watching those and waiting, I wished
Here we
I hadn't
go.
read the books. I really did. I wished I hadn't read the books. Uh-huh.
Good morning, puppy. Big thank you to Mexican Iron Man who sent us a 1999 super chat. Thank you. He says coming soon with some popcorn. Purple Valkyrie stars in finding a way home to Mexican Iron Man's plantation. Giggity.
You know what happens to him every time you say puppy?
Something goes poppy.
I can just imagine.
Mexican Iron Man rises to any occasion.
And Soul Assassin says 90s Peter Jackson, the Frighteners guy doing Lord of the Rings.
I like that movie. I liked
it as well. I just couldn't picture him doing this epic fantasy film. And when I heard it was going to be a trilogy as well, I was thinking, oh God, I hope this does well.
And all filmed at the same time. Okay, how is this going to work? But he did
Brilliantly.
He pulled it off. But he had people behind him and working with him. I mean, one, he's a genuine fan, a true genuine fan of the stories. And then he had people working with him who were genuine fans. And then he had artists that were genuine fans that had, done the work before. And he had people just working with him to ensure this was going to be a good thing. And they did.
Yeah. And the work that came out of it, because it was quite a small group that they had. I mean, Weta didn't even exist until Lord of the Rings, and they're still this tiny little shed that they work out of. I've been there. It's basically a corrugated iron shack that have all these kind of animatronics and little set pieces and armor and all these little bits and pieces just lying out on tables with people working on them. It's insane to think that these films came out of this tiny little workshop.
Yeah.
Imagine though, giving 10 years of your life. Okay, you're going to give 10 years of your life to a trilogy. It's almost what they did. Was they almost gave 10 years of their life away to do this movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like Arwen said, they were true, honest fans.
That's right.
That's what made the difference.
You don't see that today. Yes. Right. Yeah, and you do not see that today. Everyone that had something to do with this movie was giving up years of their life to do this movie. And that's why Peter Jackson didn't want to do The Hobbit right away. People were like, oh my God, The Hobbit's next. And he's like, no, ain't happening. Well, because he needed time to breathe.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at him from the beginning of this trilogy and the end of the trilogy, he lost half his weight.
Right.
Filming them. He's half the man he was by the end of these films.
He did.
But it's a passion project, like you guys were saying.
Yes.
It was done for the love.
Yes, it was. And he didn't want to change anything per se. I know they had to make some changes, which I don't. At first I didn't understand why he did all the things that he did, the changes he made, but having gone back and having watched the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of appendices and blah, 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 I get it. Okay. Some things just don't translate as well on film as they do in the book because you don't have, 30 friggin' pages to display one whole scene. You got to cut things down and I get it. But they went into it with the attitude that we are going to honor Tolkien. We're going to show his vision. We want this to be his story shown. And we just want to present that, not necessarily ours. And today it's all about, well, what is my vision of what they did? It was the source material taken and the best effort given to provide that.
The one real nitpick I had was at the end of the book, at the end of Two Towers, you think Frodo's dead. You think that Shelob killed Frodo. You don't find out till Return of the King that Frodo is alive. That Frodo wasn't killed by Shelob. They do not do that in the movies, and I wish they had, because it leaves you on this, is all hope lost? Have we lost? Did is Frodo dead? Can Sam carry on in his place? And there's a whole section of Return of the King where Sam has the ring.
Yeah.
Sam has the ring, and it's gonna be Sam the strong or whatever it was, where he has this vision where he's like leading the armies of Earth.
Yeah. He was a ring bearer. Sam was a bona fide ring bearer.
Yes, he was.
He was, yeah. Well, Sam was put in from the books as well. He's the everyman hero, isn't he? That's what Tolkien wanted. He's the guy that's always there. He's the support, but he's the strength behind.
Yeah. Kind of that unsung hero.
Absolutely. And Soul Assassin says, I heard it was hard to get Christopher Tolkien's approval for the films. But that's a big deal, you know, back when the Tolkien Society actually gave a crap about Tolkien's work. Yeah, before we lost Christopher Tolkien, it was almost impossible to get his father's work translated into anything because they were so protective of it.
Yeah, they didn't want it to become, looking at you, Amazon, intimacy coach, boobs, all that. They didn't want it to become all that.
No, because that's not Tolkien.
Not at all.
And, you know, that's where the pushback from the fans is coming from. It's not because of any other particular reason. It's just not Tolkien.
Yeah.
I remember I had a buddy that threw a fit that the elves showed up at Helm's Deep, and I was like, look, that's what should have happened. There was an alliance. There was an alliance of men, elves, dwarves, and like they say in the movie, we have come to honor that. I love that. That was a small little change. The elves show up as backup to help them fight the Uruk-hai at Helm's Deep. I love that. I absolutely love that.
It
That's
works.
going to be one of the best battle scenes I've ever seen on film.
But Haldir
Absolutely
dies,
nothing.
y'all. The one elf with testosterone dies. I hated that. I'm like, what?
Arwen, you're not a Legolas fan?
You know, Legolas is fine, but any man that is just way prettier than a woman, I just.
And you have my bow.
We'll go shopping together. We'll go
Yeah.
shopping.
Yeah.
We'll paint each other's nails, braid each other's hair, but I don't want to throw down with them. I'm sorry.
I remember showing my best friend who had never read the books that movie, and when Legolas does, and you have my bow, he's like, "Who is this pansy?" And I'm like, "Just shut up, shut your mouth, just wait."
Yeah.
Just wait. And as soon as he saw the arrows fly, his mouth was dropped and he was like, okay, I take it back. I'm like, yeah. But you're right, Arwen, you are very right. It's like, you know, you have my bow.
He's amazing. I love him. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, like I said, he'll be my best friend. There you go.
Yeah, he's definitely a BFF. Yeah.
He's a BFF. Haldir had a little more gravitas to him. I was like, all right.
You've been friend zoned, Legolas.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather go drinking with Gimli anyway, to be honest.
There you go. Oh my God, yes.
With little hairy women.
Yeah. There you go.
What did you guys think of the cast? Because I can't think of any of them. And even as I always said before, you know, Elijah Wood, who I was skeptical about, as soon as I saw him on screen, he changed my mind. Is there any of them that you think didn't fit the characters?
Oh wow,
That's a good question because I can't think of a single one. I'm
You know,
running through the whole series.
when Viggo Mortensen got cast as Aragorn, I was like, the guy from that Navy SEAL movie? What? And I was like, the guy who quoted poetry in the Navy SEAL class in that Navy SEAL movie? Really? That's the guy we're gonna get as? But man, he showed up as Strider, and he was Strider immediately.
He was, yeah. And the one thing I will say about the cast is they really took their role seriously. You know, he was talking, I think, to one of the prop designers, and he was saying, you know, how as a ranger would I sharpen my sword, for example? And they actually incorporated that into, I think, the scabbard. There's this little pouch that they added with the stone, and you can see him in the background of some of the scenes sharpening his sword.
Yeah.
So they really thought about it.
oh God, what's her name? Even Liv Tyler. Okay.
Mhm.
And she's talking, yeah, these are my ears. And like, this is my dad's coat. And like, I'm here to party. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, what the hell? And then, they go, I choose a mortal life. I'm like, damn, girl, get it. Get it. I'm okay. Frodo is here, blah, 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 blah. And she's, speaking that Elvish over him. I'm like, okay, Jackson, you got it. She was perfect. She was perfect.
She was. Yeah, she really was. But I think for me, the best cast has got to be Ian McKellen as Gandalf.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was
How many movies
awesome.
was he doing?
So good.
He was doing X-Men, he was doing Lord of the Rings, he was doing another series. I
Mhm.
remember there him and what's his name? The guy who plays Elrond. They were all doing multiple movies
Hugo
all at the
Weaving.
same time. Yeah, Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
It was like all these main people in this movie were doing movies in multiple movies all at the same time. And you're like, damn.
I don't know how that they just, yeah, the actorial.
Good
Yeah.
morning. And they all brought their A game. You wouldn't have believed that, like Loki said, they're all doing these multiple movies at the same time. But it was incredible. I loved it. And one that we don't really consider, but the scenery, New Zealand itself is as much a part of
Gorgeous.
this film
Very much.
as anything else. It's almost a character in itself where they chose to film.
Very much. They,
Right.
I, to be honest, before the movie, I'd never really heard a lot about New Zealand. I mean, I knew what New Zealand was, obviously, but, I never really paid attention to what it looked like. And then to see it just transformed in this movie, and that's what it looks like.
Mhm.
It's it's like you hear Ireland, you hear about how green it is, and then when you actually see it, you're like, damn, I get it. It really is green. New Zealand really is Middle Earth.
It really is, yeah. It's pretty
It's
much unchanged.
magical. It's magical.
Even all this time later, it still looks the same. And Genuine Comics, yes, Sean Connery did turn down the role of Gandalf because he thought it was absolute nonsense, the role. He didn't understand it at all.
I'm glad
And
he did.
that's a good
I'm glad
thing.
he
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that he looked at it and goes, I'm just not interested. There's no way I could pull it off. It's knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and not having your, head up your ass like Hollywood today and thinking, well, I can do anything because I'm me and I'm the bestest ever.
Yeah.
I love Sean
Does that bother
Connery,
you a
but
little bit there?
I do
can't
too,
imagine.
Purple. I can't either. And there's another actor. Oh God, Christopher, what's his name? Not Christopher Lee.
Christopher
obviously.
Lee?
No, Christopher. He was in The Sound of Music.
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer. I think now Ian McKellen was the quintessential Gandalf, so I would
Mhm.
never want to replace him. But I have seen him in some things, Christopher Plummer, as an older man, and I think he would have had the sensitivity and the gravitas to pull it off. He's the only other one that I've thought of and I've looked at and I've gone, I could see you in a long white beard and a pointy gray hat. But Ian McKellen knocked it out of the park. He was born to play that role. He lived, ate, breathed that role. So
Mhm.
I don't know anyone who does not think, when they think of Gandalf, Ian McKellen. He was fantastic.
Project Storytime says the biggest miscast was that they didn't cast me as Tom Bombadil.
Oh, Sensei!
Bombadil.
Well, now we know if it's ever remade who they need to call.
Exactly. Exactly.
Are you saying you're a wood nymph, Josh? Josh, you want to be a wood nymph? See, I would imagine Arwen or Purple as wood nymphs, not you, Josh.
Oh no! If I was in Middle Earth, I'd be a hobbit.
I probably would too. I want to be an elf. I've always wanted to be an elven princess, but shit, my reality says more hobbit. So is what it is.
Snort Pooper says I visited New Zealand in 2006 and it's green and lovely. Yes, it is. It is a beautiful country. And if you visited Hobbiton, the actual sets where the houses are, it's beautiful. It is absolutely pristine.
It's on my
That's a
bucket
long swim
list.
for a polar bear.
I would have wanted to be a ranger. I know Loki and technology, and Loki's here, and Loki does Mornings of Mischief, and yada yada yada. Stick me out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere with enough shit to survive with, and yeah, I'm out in the boonies.
I can picture that.
I could live in Rivendell. I could just, yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, you just want the long flowy dresses, don't you?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And I want a bridge too. I want a bridge to kiss somebody on. That scene where they're on that bridge. Y'all, it's so romantic. Where's my cold little heart?
Living like an elf, but you'd have to go for the humans. Yeah, that's how you are.
Oh yeah, there you go.
No, I'd have to be one of the wizards. I'd be one of the blues.
Oh,
The
I
two
could picture that.
blueses.
okay, the
Yeah.
bruises.
I could picture Dagger as a wizard. Yeah, that tracks.
Too.
You know, just seen by reputation and nothing else. Going off doing mischief and weird things while no one pays attention.
Oh.
Oh,
Where did that six-legged horse come from? That's one of the blues again.
So, do you guys remember the first time that you went? Was this a trilogy that you watched immediately as soon as the films came out, or did you kind of get into them later on down the line?
I was told not to go watch it. I was told by my father, do not go and watch this. It's going to be horrible. And I went anyway. And then I dragged him to the theater right after that. And I said, you have to go see it. Just for the Balrog alone, you have to go see it. The scene where Gandalf's like, you shall not pass. Yes, you've got to go see it just for that. And we did. And he loved it. And we got a preview of Two Towers right after the movie ended. And he saw Gandalf all in white and was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay, we're going to go see the next one.
I had only seen none of the Disney, but all the other Star Wars on day one. And that's the only series I ever did until Lord of the Rings. And someone convinced me, said, you got to do it. And it was just, their educated guess that it was going to be good. So all of them, day they came open, I was there.
The same, I was too. And I remember the theatres being absolutely packed.
Yep.
It was one of the best experiences I've had watching these films because everybody got into it. Everybody was animated. Everybody was cheering. There was such a good atmosphere watching these films.
I wanted to go, but I was like, what felt like pregnant for 2 years. I just had a really kind of a rough pregnancy. And it was after I gave birth to my son and I had a C-section. So I was like bedridden for 3 months. 3 weeks. Oh my God. That would have been a hell of a C-section. I'm sorry.
Taking advantage of things a little bit there, are you? Please feel sorry for me. I just had a child a year ago.
Well, yeah, my bedroom was upstairs and they told me after I gave birth to my son, they were like, look, you can't use the stairs. So my husband got to bring stuff up and down, and I got to play, princess for a while. Well, it had just come out on DVD. So he got it for me and I watched it. Like, I think I watched it and then I turned around and I watched it immediately again. And then I went to sleep. Then I woke up. I watched it again. I mean, I watched that thing for my entire recovery after giving birth to my son. And then when Two Towers came out, I went to the theater that, and then of course the last one I went to the theater for that. But the first one I missed the theater release, but I made up for it. I watched it over and over and over and over. I couldn't get enough of it. Could not get enough of it.
And it's weird as well because once you find out that there's the extended version, that's the only version you want to watch, and you don't mind that it's extended because it's so good.
Not at all. Absolutely. That's what I watch now. So
I don't think I could go back to watching the cut version.
Well, and it's to be fair, it's not like the cut version is an hour and a half and the extended is 4 or 5 hours. I mean, even the theatrical version is long. So I'm like, if I'm going to watch it now, I'm going to watch the like full meal deal, not just the French fries, but I want the French fries and the burger and the Coke. You know, I want the whole thing on my plate. Might as well. I'm going to be spending hours watching it anyway. And it's just, you get more out of it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I agree. You can't go back to watching the theatrical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's an all-day event. If you want to watch it all in one day, it is an all-day event. You have to dedicate, you know, over 12 hours to watching those movies.
Yeah.
If you want to watch them all in one day. But you can do it. It's doable.
Yes. Hands up anyone who's ever done the full marathon.
I've done a two-day.
I
I
do it
watched
every
all
year.
three.
Yep.
All three Hobbit movies, extended versions, and then Lord of the Rings the next day. I'll do it in a 2-day event.
Mhm.
Exactly.
New
Yes.
Year's, I do it every year.
Nice. I love that. And I know, you know, The Hobbit gets a lot of flack, but I actually really do like the extended versions of them, especially the first Hobbit film. I think, it, you know, with the extra songs added, it brings a lot to the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we needed 3 of them. I think it could have been done in 2 films, but that's just me.
Do not get me started.
Yes.
Well, I will say,
Little thing with a dragon. Little thing with a dragon.
the first Hobbit film got me through a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, you know, of course, Lord of the Rings did, but the first Hobbit film, I mean, last year I had that thing on replay over and over and over. And I think because even though it has its heavy moments, it has a lighter tone. That first film in particular, it has a lighter tone. And again, I love the songs. I love the scene, you know, where they're kicking it at Bilbo's and they're, you know, singing their song and they're doing all of the silverware and the cutlery and all that shit.
Yes.
You know, I admire it because it's got forks. So yeah, I'm
Fork
there
envy.
for it. Yeah, fork envy. But yeah, I don't know. I that first one in particular, I absolutely love.
I have no problem with that first movie. It's the end of the second. It will always be
I know.
the end of the second. I mean, Bilbo. I can't forget it. I can't. It's like seared into my brain. Oh my, what have we done?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Misty High, you son of a bitch! On the mountain below. My
There
fuck
it
you, Peter Jackson!
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, Loki did it.
And that
Blame
really
Loki for that
happened,
ending.
didn't it, boss?
Oh, yeah, in the theater, people looking at me, popcorn flying. I'm pissed. I'm pointing at the screen. I'm flipping the screen, the bird. I'm telling Peter Jackson what he can go do with himself. Yeah, no, you do not end the second movie like that. You let the smog thing happen. You let that, because I'm waiting. I'm like, I want to see the arrow. I want to see how they do it.
Yeah.
And then no, you got to wait. And it's like, you've got this giant battle in this last movie. Why the hell are you holding back the thing with the dragon?
Yes.
Why?
Considering how long the film was, an extra 15 minutes to add that battle wouldn't have made any difference.
From my understanding, the executives said you will not show the end with the dragon because people think that's the end, and they just won't come back to see the next movie. They'll just go, oh, that's the end, and they won't. They'll think, why are they coming out with another movie when you've ended it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clearly, they don't realize that, you know, it's based on a book that millions of people would have read.
Yeah, it doesn't end when the dragon ends. There's more to it. It carries on. The big battle is yet to come. The big kahuna, but yeah. That's why they do it.
Brightest Day, thank you, honey. He sent us a $1.99 super chat and he sends us a question. He says, most impressive military force in the films.
Got to be the army of men and elves at the very beginning of Lord of the Rings when they're talking about the Battle of the Second Age. When Elrond's like, you gotta hide! And those arrows go flying at everything, and it like one whizzes right by his ear so close that his hair's like, wanting to follow it. Yeah, that was the best shit right there. When the elves are fighting the orcs along with men at the very beginning and they're having that battle, in Mordor, that has to be the most impressive.
mine would be when Saruman's on the tower with Wormtail and an army of tens of thousands and looking down at all his forces. That was impressive to me.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, when he sheds that single tear, when he
Yep.
realizes what they've
Yep.
unleashed. Yes.
Yes, because he knows. He knows. Although I believe it's Pelennor Fields where the two armies come and
Yep.
they clash in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just like, yes. Although watching the Army of the Dead
Love
take
those guys.
down, it just mow over everything.
Yep.
That's kind of impressive.
That was awesome. But you think he would have held on to them just that little bit longer? You know, if these
Right.
guys
I
are kind of
know.
useful.
But he
know.
promised their
did.
original pact with oh my God, why am I wanting to say Gryffindor? Jesus Christ, it's not Harry Potter.
King of the Dead.
Their original, the
Isildur?
King of the Dead's original pact with the Isildur was we will defend Gondor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was his, and they never showed up.
Yes.
So he did it. They did their deed. They fought. They completed their part of the bargain.
Build their
Should he
oath.
have kept them? But he realized they completed their bargain.
Yes, they redeemed themselves. Absolutely.
And they never lose. They did their thing, y'all.
Company, I left my
Yeah.
phone in the kitchen. I heard that yell at the end of the
Okay.
Well, that's because Loki's a fan and he's passionate and he knows what he's talking about. You know, a lot of people, it wouldn't have meant anything to them, but if you've read the book and you know what's supposed to happen, it is incredibly irritating where they left off.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It very irritating.
What have we done? Well, you've
What
cut
have we
damn
done?
Smaug out of the movie is what you've done.
Oh, it's just I hear it. What have we done? Oh, misty high on the mountain below. Oh, you sons of bitches.
In comes Ed Sheeran. Yep.
I knew as soon as I heard that song start to play, I was, you son of a bitches.
It's over. You got to come back for part 3. We're all like,
And
we
Mark,
knew what happened.
I agree. Billy Connolly was great in that. But if you go back to the original films, and they still hold up to this day. I mean, you think they are 20 years old, but they still look incredible because of the care that was put into them. You know, the love that we were talking about earlier, the passion behind it. You know, everything looks great, even when it's been transferred onto 4K and when it went from DVD to Blu-ray. The looks beautiful, you know, and with all the extras, all the behind the scenes footage that was shot, and they didn't have to do that. They did that because they knew the fans would be fascinated to learn how these trilogies were made.
Yeah.
Right. I'm always impressed when they're on the river and they go by the giant 2 statues of the kings and how well they rendered on film
Yes.
and TV. They did a good job.
And if you want to know why those 4K upgrades are worth it, yes, the picture quality is it's a little bit better than Blu-ray. What you really have to take into account is the sound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going from dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun to dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. And it's just, I mean, if you have a sound system in your home, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. If you have surround sound, whatever you've got, this is what you want. You want that 4K disc because the sound quality, it's uncompressed. So they're not compressing the sound file at all. So you're getting everything. You're getting every tone, every pitch, everything you want out of it. You're getting out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our own orgasm.
I'll see what I can do. So
Ask and you shall receive, son.
One pink and one purple.
But
you gotta have some rave music in there though too.
Oh my god, that takes me back. I haven't heard that for a while.
Get Fat Steven to do a mix because he used to do it.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think it's fair to say that when these films came out, it kind of reignited the love of Tolkien's work? Because up until then, I think, and I've seen plenty of, so-called critics saying how dry, how, uninteresting Lord of the Rings actually is if you sit down and read it. Do you think that these films really kind of brought it into the public consciousness?
I do.
Oh yeah. I remember reading Lord of the Rings. I was reading Two Towers, and a buddy came over. He's like, "What are you reading?" I'm like, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers." He's like, "It's like a kid's book, isn't it?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" And then he saw it, and he was like, "Dude, why didn't you ever? You said it was a kid's book. You acted like it was a kid's book. Why the hell am I going to tell you how badass it all is if you think of it like a kid's book?" Well, I remember that in like junior high. Yeah, I was reading it in junior high. Not most people were reading Lord of the Rings in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's true.
I saw a tweet of some guy the other day, some movie critic or what have you. He's got a nice fat blue check mark on there. And he says, I still can't get into the Lord of the Rings reading 5 or 6 pages of all back story and world building just doesn't make any sense to me. You should be able to do it in a couple of paragraphs. And I'm thinking, some authors do, some authors don't. The whole problem is you're an idiot. You have to be able to read things for what they are, not what you hope they are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you're right. There's a lot of people who may have missed the books because of that. And like I said, I haven't read them. I've gotten into other things, but just the depositions, like reading an extended prologue. Well, you want to know the story. So the movies actually shorten that up for people. You could see it instead of reading, because there are different ways of learning. People will learn by hearing, people learn by seeing, people learn by having things expressed intellectually. There's different ways of learning, and the visual people, I could imagine, have a hard time with the books because they can't quite picture it the same way they could as if they were in a movie. But
Yeah.
Fortunately for all of us, the people like you had mentioned earlier, they are big fans of the whole thing. They weren't the fake fans or the ones that say they're fans just until they get their paycheck. These guys put love in it, and so those people who weren't able to read it can enjoy it for what it is, close to anyway.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. And Solitas also says a lot of fantasy films try to cash in on the Lord of the Rings success. Narnia, for example. I think that, Lord of the Rings, I would put Harry Potter up there as well as some of the best book to film adaptations out there.
Yeah, it
And
broke my
messing
heart
with the
about
wheel of-
Narnia, that Narnia wasn't able to, there was like a rights problem after the first 3 films. And so those are probably will never get remade.
No, I would have
By
loved
the
to have seen the Silver Chair, though. That would
Oh,
have been good.
so would I. That's why I was just really disappointed. I'm like, come on, y'all, get your stuff together. We got 3 films. Let's keep going. But no, it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. And that's a shame because I did enjoy that series.
It did, and for a time with the Lord of the Rings when they came out, it kind of rekindled that excitement about fantasy where it had died off in the past. We had a lot of sci-fi, we had a lot of action films coming out, but what we didn't have before, we had a lot of them in the 80s, was fantasy films.
Yeah.
And these films really kind of reconnected that with a lot of people.
And to me, Tolkien and Lewis, they were of the same circle and they were friends. So whenever I think of Lord of the Rings, my mind goes to Narnia because I've always associated growing up, I've always associated the two. And we had such an amazing achievement in Lord of the Rings. I wish we could have had that in Narnia. And like you said, it rekindled that fire and that spirit to see something other than 80s fantasy, which don't get me wrong, I love my 80s fantasy. Some of it's cheesy, some of it's done really well. I love it, but none of it is Lord of the Rings. And that is just such a a monument to an incredible story, an incredible world, incredible filmmaking, and incredible dedication taken and respect treating to source material that I don't know if we've seen in quite a while. And I don't know if we will see again. I don't know.
I hope we will, to be honest, because I
do
love
too.
fantasy. I always do. And I'm going to have to agree with TZ Canadian. I was never able to finish the Silmarillion. No, Loki has, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm one
It's
of those.
it's a hard book to read through. It is a hard book to read through.
I'm treating
just
it
gotta-
like a history book instead of a fictional book. That's the
You
only
just
way
get-
I'm able to get through it.
You've just got to realize that some of it doesn't all connect, and you're not going to get endings to things that you want endings for in the Silmarillion. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and there's like the Lost Tales, and there's all kinds of stuff that gets skipped over, that gets left out. A lot of this stuff didn't get finished. So, you've even got a whole story that happened after Lord of the Rings that just never got finished.
You know,
But see,
there's
I'm kind of a fan of that because having things left off for your own imagination instead of writing everything out, I kind of like that. You know, there's missing pieces, and you can spend your time thinking of what it was or what it could be instead of it being told to you. You know, you tell a great story and leave bits and pieces and odds and ends here and there to where you can keep going back to the story, imagining what this was or what that wasn't. I like that. Even though it wasn't deliberate, I still like it.
And nearsighted Cyclops, I agree with you. They're gonna destroy their own show, is what they're
Yes.
gonna destroy. They're not gonna destroy Lord of the Rings as a whole. They're
Yeah.
just
Right.
gonna destroy their own show.
Mhm.
And we've seen it. We've seen it over and over and over again from everyone, from CBS, from Lucas, from all of it. It's all coming to a head of, well, we're destroying our own IPs. That's the new popular thing to do, is to take out your own IP in a blaze of blue-haired land whales.
Yeah, all stuff like that does anymore for me is, you know, I used to get really twisted about it. But now all it does for me is it makes me want to enjoy and protect the source material even more
Yes.
and love it and give it the honor and the praise that it deserves.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd agree with that, and we've said it so many times in the past. You know, go back to keep your physical copies. You know, get
Yes.
the Blu-rays, get the DVDs, get the brand new edition that comes out, and treasure them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Same with the books as well. Make sure you've got a really nice copy of the books.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Project Storytime says, but
Oh.
Lord of the Rings is the platform.
I saw that.
It all sums up to what there was an executive at DC Comics that said, we can't make new IPs because no one wants anything to do with them. But the way we can get people's attention really quick is to take current superheroes, current movies, current IPs, and change them. And make them soy and woke, make characters bisexual, gay, what trans, whatever, and that will get people's attention. It does. It's just not the attention you want, because you've taken something that is sacred and you've twisted it into something it shouldn't be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed. And Larry says that Amazon would destroy any interest in Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, especially for new people to the books and movies. Let them. I say, you know, they wanted this. You know, the people that know Lord of the Rings, the people that love the films, the people that love the books, the people like
Mhm.
right here on this panel that, you know, we're here celebrating a film that's 20 years old because we love it so much. We're quite happy to sit back, let Amazon do whatever they do with this TV show and rip it to pieces when it comes out.
There's an army. There is an army of people that love Tolkien, that love these books, that love those movies.
Yeah.
And if you think people got upset about changes in the movie Lord of the Rings, oh, just wait.
Mhm.
Because this isn't new. This isn't, oh, well, we're going to tell a tale of what happened after Lord of the Rings. No, they're going back
Yeah.
to when Isildur was still alive. And they're going to fuck up all of that. So just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Until it happens and you see an army of pissed off Tolkienites running around with cleavers, orc cleavers and glamdrings tearing shit up left and right. Just wait. I'm waiting. I've got my popcorn ready. I've got my feet up on my desk, and I'm ready to go out loud and say, y'all fucked up.
Mhm.
Yes. We sit back and watch the fireworks.
Exactly. And I see what Larry is saying, but
Mhm.
like I'll just from my own experience, like I've never read The Wheel of Time. I've never, seen, I think I watched just the very little tiny bit of the show, but I've talked to people and I listen, and seeing where they have pooched the show has made me want to go read the books. So that has sparked my interest to see what the source material is really about. And I think there are a lot of people out there that they may not necessarily be Lord of the Rings fans, but they may be tired of the IPs trying to gatekeep and hijack everything. That they may be like, okay, screw you. We're gonna go straight to Tolkien. We're gonna read the books. We're gonna see the movie. We're gonna see what the real deal is. So it just, it depends on where somebody's coming from.
It's kind of like the Streisand effect, because I remember when I was a kid, everyone around was saying, "Oh, that Dungeons and Dragons is devil worship. You shouldn't get those." And I would go like to a comic book store or something, and you'd see the cover with these dragons or goblins or something. I can't even remember everything, and I thought, they told me not to read it, but I'm gonna read it. So I'm reading D&D manuals.
Yes, it's forbidden fruit. Yeah.
Gotta check it out and see for yourself. And that's just what people need to do. They need to see for themselves.
They will, and I think they will. To be honest, I think, like you guys were saying, there are so many people that these films didn't exactly go under the radar. There's a reason they're so beloved. There's a reason why we're celebrating their 20th anniversary. There's a reason why we still recommend these films to people. Why we recommend the books to people. It's because they are so good. And I don't think that this series is going to detract from what we have. It's just going to show how bad it is compared to what we have.
Right.
Oh, and I'll watch it and I'll laugh. If it's really that bad, I'll laugh and I'll riff it to pieces.
Well,
but it will not be Lord of the Rings if they totally pooch it up. It will not.
You take the people who actually made the original Lord of the Rings. I could imagine in their mind thinking, "Go ahead, Amazon, do it. It'll just prove what kind of a hacks you are compared to the work that true fans did 20 years ago." I'm sure they're just sitting back saying, like Loki, got their popcorn going, "Yeah, bring it on."
There were people that went absolutely nuts when Warner Brothers Games did the Lord of the Rings games, and they turned Shelob into a woman, and they told a story about Celebrimbor. That was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I want to see where this is going. There were Tolkienites out there that were like, burn fucking WB games to the ground just because of that. Just because of that, they turned Shelob into a woman. She could shapeshift into a woman. She wasn't really a woman either. She was it was like a glamour.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they told a story about Celebrimbor.
Excuse me.
And how Celebrimbor made another one ring to rule them all. That alone had people ready to burn down a game studio. I can't wait to see how they react to this, because the only people that are like this are the same people that are like, "Oh my God, me and my partner play Lord of the Rings, or we play Dungeons and Dragons, and I just can't stand the orc hate. We have to make orcs acceptable for everyone. So let's cut this out because, we all love to be orcs. So this game has to totally change because, in my opinion, it's problematic." That's exactly the only people that are going to be okay with this is that. And they don't outnumber us. We outnumber them like 100 to 1.
Yeah, I think
that.
They've severely underestimated the blowback that's going to happen. Or maybe they just don't care. It's hard to tell anymore. And let me just say a massive thank you to Darius Munchausen. Thank you, sweetheart. He sends us a popcorn sticker. Thank you so much. That's exactly what we're going to be getting when this comes out. Absolutely.
If y'all want a good Lord of the Rings game, Lord of the Rings Online. And right now I believe it's done by Standing Stone Games.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely lore heavy. They have gone out of their way to make that world, everything from the music, everything from the lore, everything. And, you know, to some people it might be slow because you got to read your quests, y'all. Don't go in there expecting to buzz through it. You got to read your quests.
You have to think. Oh my.
You do. You have to think. You have to read. You got to do this shit. But it is very, very good. And it is definitely a love letter to Tolkien. A true one.
Generally, on the whole, all of the Lord of the Rings games have been pretty good because, as you say, there is that love behind them as well. Yeah. You know, even the Lego game was actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed we never got the last Hobbit game. And that's because Lego lost. Lego couldn't, they wouldn't let Lego make another one.
No.
Sucks.
Soul Assassin says Loki and the crew are going to ride Balrogs and elephants and raid Amazon.
Yeah.
Forget that. Yeah. Give me a fell beast, y'all.
That's right.
That's right in style.
Purple be riding Smog.
Yes, hell yes.
Yes.
It's a dragon. A dragon. Shut up, mother.
And a big thank you to Larry. Larry, thank you, sweetheart. He sends us a thumbs up super sticker. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
What as fans would you say to somebody who has never seen these films? Would you, obviously you'd say watch them, but what would you say to them to really sell it to them?
I just watch them with them. That's what I do. I'd watch the movies, and hey, if you love the movies, go and read the books. The books are even better. Except, I will give this. Fellowship, half that book is lost in the woods with hobbits. Yes. Hobbits is lost in the woods. That's what half of Fellowship is. Once you get past that, though, oh my God, yes. Absolutely.
It would be hard for me because visuals, you want to see some beautiful country. You want to see some great costumes. You want to see great. You want to hear some wonderful music that's really appropriate for the great. You want to see a great story. It's all in one package. That's about the best I could do because I have no faults with any of it. Even when they cut off the scene with the dragon. Granted, it's the other movie.
It's okay, Loki.
I wish I was there. I wish I was there.
Trigger.
I know my date was going, sit down, I'll fuck you. I fucked it up. Oh, I was pissed. I was pissed. Even my date was like, sit down, you're embarrassing me. Fuck you. They ruined it.
Damn it, Peter Jackson. You were the chosen one.
Yeah, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring us together, not separate the movies. You said 2 movies, not 3, you greedy bastard.
You dropped 5 of those commandments, damn it.
And good morning to Lady Gravemaster. Hello, sweetheart.
Good morning.
We've got Miss Martin Muses and Stick Kenobi. Hello, my loves.
Hey,
good to see you.
I know for me, because my kids kind of grew up with it, but it was one of those, mom and dad were watching it. They'd kind of, go in and out, and they never really sat down and watched it. But when my daughter came to me and said, okay, I've been seeing this movie all my life, but I've never seen it all the way through. I need to watch it. I'm like, well, honey, there's 3 of them. She's like, I know. Let's do it. And I told her, I said, you are in for a treat. You are in for a story that actually takes something beyond yourself, where good actually conquers evil. Now sit your ass down and let's watch these films. And she loved them.
You know what I would love to do if we do these Valhalla-con? Just to have Fellowship of the Ring
it's happening.
In the background. Happening. That can be our...
Oh my God, yes!
Do.
Yes.
after 2 years, who can believe it? 2 years of Mornings of Mischief, who can believe it? We are October, but October it would be the 21st to the 22nd, but we're going to extend the days out so we have
Hell
time
yes.
before the con and after the con to hang out. It's not just going to be like during the con. So yeah,
That would be
Fantastic.
amazing. That would be so cool. I think for me, I would just say it is probably the go-to other than Star Wars for a perfect trilogy. There isn't one of these films that has a weak point. Usually it's the second film or it's the third film in a trilogy that kind of falls down a little bit, but all three of these Lord of the Rings, they stand alone. You can watch them separately, you can watch them back to back, and you will have an incredible time. The characters, the cast, the music, the costumes, the weaponry that they built, the armor, the choreography, it is all perfect.
Yep.
I agree.
agreed.
I totally agree.
And I really, really want my own Sting to put up on the wall.
I have one, Purple.
Do you?
I have
Yeah,
a
you can get 'em.
Sting. Yeah. It's
Some
not
of
on the
them are
wall,
actually not
but-
too badly made too, but you're going to spend significant amount of money, but still.
Yeah, mine hasn't tarnished yet. Mine still looks good. I was afraid it was going to tarnish. No, it still looks good. Yeah, Sting is awesome.
Sting is awesome. I know everybody's got their own favorite weapon, but I always like Sting, I gotta admit.
Mhm.
Or Gandalf's staff. That would be pretty awesome to have as well.
Yes. And I want a Flame of the West. I want a
Ooh.
Flame of the West.
Yes.
But
Miss Modern Music says everything is perfect except Faramir. Oh, I liked Faramir. Yeah, I really did.
it would have been really hard though to go from I want nothing to do, stay away, stay away, stay away in the books. I don't know if that would have translated on screen. I still think they should have made him a little, more like that. But
Mhm.
I get why they did what they did. But it's just one of those changes they chose to make. It was a choice, and we either like it or not. But fortunately, it doesn't ruin anything for me.
And Soul Assassin, I agree. The behind-the-scenes documentaries are just as good as the films. They really are. You can
Mhm.
sit down and watch those and have just as much fun because of the detail. And as you say, you can tell these people are loving what they're doing. Even the people that sat down and made the armor, they put these links together by hand, so much so that they've actually rubbed off their fingerprints. But they didn't care because they loved getting to work on these films.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I
Thanks for
wanted
the ask.
to celebrate this. I wanted to talk Lord of the Rings because we don't get to talk it very often, and I can't think of a better panel to have had join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Purple.
Yeah,
This
thank
has
you.
been great.
Before we let everybody go and get on with their Monday, what have you guys got coming up?
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Coffee on her wore off.
Stuff is happening.
I don't know if Mary is streaming tonight.
Mhm.
If she is, I'll probably be on there. I don't know. I know we've got Pink and Purple on Wednesday.
We do, yes, on your channel, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that, yeah. We know what we're doing, it's fine.
A lot of the shows that I'm on this week we're not doing because it's the week of Christmas.
Yes, yeah,
But-
there's a lot of kind of people obviously very busy with real life stuff as well.
But I think that's it for me right now.
Cool. And I know Loki has a show later on this evening with Covering Times.
Yeah, we are going to we're gonna cover some of the seasonal episodes of different DC animated. Like we're gonna watch Christmas with the Joker.
Nice.
We're gonna cover Comfort and Joy from Justice League, Invasion of the Secret Santas. There's a Party Animal episode called Party Animal for Batman that was done by Paul Dini. So we're going to cover a bunch of different seasonal episodes from DC's animated shows, and we're just going to talk about how cool they are, what we liked about them. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg.
We all know that. I love
We
it.
all know that one. You know, Joker and Arkham singing, and the Joker got away. Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
I love that.
The fact that I can even do that still, it's like, yeah, okay. All right. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. We got the comic book roundtable also coming up tomorrow. We're going to talk Spider-Man. We're going to talk comic books, our favorite comic books, show off our favorite comic books, and have just kind of like a Christmas hangout for the old comic book roundtable.
Yeah, I invited. I think he's going to show up as a special guest for that. Some people know who he is. He's been in the business for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Stan Lee has purchased some of his artwork before he passed away. He thought it was that good. So, and he does indie stuff now. So hopefully things will work out and he'll be able to be with you tomorrow night.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, guys, we have got a very busy week coming up. We've got Christmas just around the corner. Looking forward to that. Let me say a massive thank you to my fantastic panel today, guys. You guys were awesome as always. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let me say a massive thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys were on fire, as you always are. We had some amazing comments today. A massive thank you to everybody who sent super chats and super stickers. You guys are brilliant. A warm welcome to our new members. Thank you so much, Arlena. It's so good to have you with us. Really, really appreciate that. So, guys, we are almost at Christmas. It's almost the solstice tomorrow. So, a happy Yule.
Yes.
We will wish you. And have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Guys, don't forget to check out Loki and Clobby on this evening. And then we've got Mornings of Mischief, and Arwen has a show coming up as well during the week. And then we've got Pink and Purple. So we've got so much stuff coming up, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and much love to everybody. Loki, could you close us, please?
Oh, yeah. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. Keep tuning in to Purple Valkyrie, to Arwen Avalon, to Adega Outlaw. And may you all have a very Merry Christmas.
So say we all. Thank you, guys, and have a wonderful day.
bye, y'all.